Do I date women with kids? The answer to that question is no, I don't. Let me tell you my reasons why. One, I don't have kids. I don't have kids.
So I just got through watching this gentleman's video, and I'm gonna tag him either below or in the comments, and I want y'all to go watch that full video. But he talks about him not wanting to date anyone with kids, and in the comments are so many women who seem so angry and upset that people don't want to date women with children. And they're like, oh, your wife is probably someone with kids. His wife cannot be someone with children because he does not want a woman with children. And I tell this to single women without kids all the time. Stop dating men with children. I don't care how old you think you are getting. If you do not want someone with children, you do not have to date someone with children. And if you have children, look for other people with children. Stop trying to force your children on people who have yet to procreate. Now, if you do not have children and you don't mind dating anyone with children, that's fine. If you are currently dating someone with children and you do not have children, that is also fine. But when someone says they do not have kids and they don't want to date anyone with kids, stop trying to shame them. When I was single and before I had children, I would run into guys that had kids and they would always be like, how come you don't want a man with kids? Like, what's wrong with that? You getting older. Like, I was like late 20s. And they're like, you're getting older. You know what I'm saying? It's not many of us out here. We got kids. I was like, it's enough. It's enough for me to stick to my standard. And they were like, well, why is that? Because having a child is a gift. That is something that I want to give my husband. That is a gift that I want to give to a man who has yet to be given that. I'm not going to give that to anybody. And a lot of you women need to stop giving the gift of life. And another point that some of the women brought up is like, what about when you get a divorce, or if you get a divorce, or one day the tables are going to be turned? Most of us that have these ideas in our head do not date people, or would not date someone once a divorce, or if a divorce happens, or God forbid something was to ever happen that would cause me to re-enter the dating world. I would not date someone who does not have children and wants them. Now, if I came across someone who has made it up in their head like, I don't want to have children, and by then my children are of a certain age, then cool. But I would not date someone who has yet to have children but wants children. Like, that's just not for me. I think that they should go find someone who does not have children as well.
I agree with her at some point, but it depends. It's not the same, to a man. Men can have multiple wives, but women, they cannot have multiple husbands. That's why a man with kids, they can get married to a woman with no kids. For a man to be a stepdad, it's a deal breaker. It's risky, and you will not be appreciated. You will not be able to lead in that family. You are taking someone else's family. That's why do not take that move as a man. But for a woman, you have to keep yourself pure until you get someone, you can bond together. So what you have to do to know the intention of that man to you. Women with kids, single mothers, they are raging war against women with no kids. What happened? I don't want to say much. Let me take you through the video.
A lot of the women without kids are mad at women with kids because the men without kids are with the women with kids. And they get mad because the man that don't have no kids end up getting the woman with kids pregnant. Talking about why do you keep taking all the men? Leave some baby daddies for us.
So I want to address a couple things in this video. First thing being, I done said many a times, don't let these men lie to you and tell you that they won't date single mothers, or that they don't mess with single mothers, or that single mothers are only for recreational use. A lot of these men be playing Russian roulette, right? They get with these women that got kids thinking that they just gonna play around with her. Little do you know, she fertile. She fertile, right? You look at her too hard, she gonna be pregnant. And then you F around and find out by being her baby daddy number 2, 3, 4, because you thought that you could go in there and play around with her and she wasn't going to get pregnant and keep the baby, but she do. And that's how a lot of the men who ain't got no kids going to end up being these women's multiple baby daddies. All right, they can tell you all day that that's not what they're going to do, but that's God's plan. When you start playing stupid games, you win stupid prizes. If you playing around with fertile women, thinking that it's only for recreational use and you ain't using protection and it's her body, her choice, guess what? You're going to be one of her baby fathers. You're going to go into the collection of baby fathers along with the other men. All right. It's a comment section full of women bragging about how they baby number 2, 3, 4 is the man's first child, because eventually that's what's going to happen with most men who ain't got no kids, because the women that they're attracted to will have at least one baby when they meet them. So they will be that woman's second, third, fourth, and beyond baby father. Don't believe the hype. Now, the part about the single women with no kids being mad at the fact that men with no kids are getting women with kids pregnant, I don't think the word is mad, just more like it's disappointing and discouraging every time you meet a dude and he halfway decent looking, he already got kids. I done spoke on that many a times. That's the reason why I don't date, because most of the dudes that I meet who look like something already got children. So yeah, that's discouraging. I'll give you that, right? But flexing your ability to get pregnant by men and just saying that the fact that that didn't stop them from getting you pregnant again, like I said in the beginning of the video, a lot of time it's by accident. All right, they think that they gonna come, get in, get out, and then you get pregnant, you decide to keep it, and then they become baby daddy number 2, 3, and beyond. It wasn't because they truly wanted children with you. You're just fertile and you keep babies. And that's what it is, right? And better you than me, because I'm not giving no man no child. So better them keep getting you pregnant than me, right? So I don't think really mad is the word that you're looking for. It sounds more like you trying to cope with the fact that you keep letting a bunch of men get you pregnant. Because in what world is this truly even a flex that every time you keep meeting dudes, you keep letting them give you babies, and so now you got multiple kids by multiple different men? And somehow you think that this is something to brag about at the fact that it's not stopping men from getting you pregnant again. But the lies that y'all tell yourself to cope with y'all decisions is wild.
I find it funnier for women with kids to brag they're getting men, So they want to tell us they have options than those women with no kids. But here's the thing, they have to learn a man's behavior. Single mothers are the easy target, so they are done with their prime, no one will take them serious. But what men are doing, they going just for smashing and dump. That's what they're doing, They're going there for bed fun. That's why themselves and those who standing on the streets, those working girls, there's no difference in the eyes of a man, the way he views single mothers. They know it's a deal breaker. You cannot marry a single mom. You'll be a sucker, So for them bragging online saying they can secure men, but why they can't keep them? What's your problem having 3 baby daddies? Why you cannot secure a man? So you are a problem, and they're trapping men with them kids.
So recently I've been looking into like child-free people or just women who are single, don't want a relationship, don't want kids. And I see so many men get like very, very angry about it. I think I know where the anger is coming from. So they're coming to the realization that they're not competing with another dude. They're not competing with any sort of like really anything. They're competing with nothing and facing the realization that they are less desirable than literally nothing. And I think that's where a lot of the rage comes from. Like a lot of the hatred for it and telling like, oh, you're gonna die alone. You're gonna da-da-da-da-da. I think it's more of like a projection, like, oh, I'm gonna die alone if you don't fucking settle and sink down for me. I think that's where it's coming from. My personal opinion on it, that's just my take. That's what I think.
She has a point though. What I'm saying here is jealous. Single mothers are jealous. By saying this, childless women, they still have options, especially when they're young. They have bigger bucket to choose from, and a lot of men, they are chasing after them.